Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
After watching the end of this movie, you will need to take a long, hot, soapy shower. This movie has the best, worst end to a movie I have ever seen. Earlier in the film, you will start to feel an inkling of distaste, and that distaste will grow to a loathsome abhorrence by the final scene. In the best of ways, these are strong emotions not brought on by gore, violence, or super graphic scenes, but rather by the excellent script, captivating plot, and incredible acting. Despite this, or maybe because of it, will this movie be worth watching for your movie night? Let's get into it. I'm really excited about this one. It's pretty juicy. The movie's Chinatown. Chinatown is the 19th best movie of all time according to the American Film Institute. Directed by Roman Polanski and released in 1974, Chinatown centers on private investigator Jake Gittes. Hired by a woman claiming to be Evelyn Mulray to investigate her husband's infidelity, Gittes uncovers a conspiracy involving Los Angeles' water supply, which is more interesting than you might think once you realize that the movie bases this part of the film on true events. As Jake Gittes digs deeper, he meets the real Evelyn Mulray and her powerful villain father, Noah Cross. Gittes unravels a web of corruption, deceit, and dark family secrets, leading to a tragic and unforgettable conclusion, marked by the line, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown." A central theme in Chinatown is the futility of fighting corrupt power. This is depicted on a large scale through the backdrop of the California water wars between Los Angeles and local farmers, and on a smaller scale through the interpersonal relationships within a family, illustrating the helplessness of innocence against powerful evil. The inkling of distaste I get earlier in the movie starts with the large scale of the California water wars, with the understanding the plight of the farmers against the mighty city of Los Angeles. This distaste grows when the film focuses on the small scale of innocence versus powerful evil between Evelyn and her father, Noah Cross. My distaste culminates into revulsion in the final scene, when it dawns on me how total and complete the corrupt power is over the innocent character. Chinatown received 11 nominations at the Academy Awards, yet only one was won. The movie's screenwriter, Robert Towne, won the Best Original Screenplay Award. Ironically, Towne and the movie's director, Polanski, had a fierce argument about how to end the movie. Towne originally wrote a significantly less dark ending. However, Polanski pulled rank to create the ending as we know it today. There are many that hold the opinion that Chinatown has the greatest screenplay of all movies. Towne was held in high regard by those in the movie industry and was called in as a script doctor on several notable movies, including Bonnie and Clyde and The Godfather. Here's a clip of Francis Ford Coppola accepting his Oscar for The Godfather screenplay and giving some credit to Towne.
And then, giving credit where it's due, I'd like to thank Bob Towne, who wrote the very beautiful scene between Marlon and Al Pacino in the garden. That was Bob Towne.
In addition to Chinatown being in the running for the best screenplay of all time, it's also widely considered to be the pinnacle of the genre of film noir. However, there are two significant differences between Chinatown and the traditional film noir movie up to this point. Firstly, Chinatown does not have any voiceover narration, which is usually a mainstay in film noir movies. Chinatown's story unfolds through the actions and dialogues of the characters, with the audience discovering clues and plot developments alongside the protagonist, Jake Gittes. This narrative choice helps maintain the film's suspense and immersive atmosphere, and doubling down on this decision is the fact that Jack Nicholson's character appears in every single scene, making clear to the audience that they know as much as the detective does throughout the film. It really makes me feel like I'm alongside Jack Nicholson's character, kind of like his sidekick. Another way Chinatown is different from other film noir is the ending. While many film noirs have bleak or ambiguous endings, Chinatown takes this to an extreme with its tragic and devastating conclusion. The film's famous closing line, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown," underscores the sense of inevitable corruption and futility that pervades the story. More about that famous line, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown." Robert Towne has said that he got this line from a former LA vice policeman, who also said that when he was on the beat in Chinatown, he did his best to do as little as possible, as it was nearly impossible to understand who was the victim, what claims were being made, and so on, largely due to the language barrier. Let's discuss the lasting quality of those involved in Chinatown, which is formidable. We've already talked about Town's screenwriting ability. Let's move on to some of the actors, and then the director, Roman Polanski, whose real-life story rivals the plot of Chinatown for tragedy and reprehensible behavior. More on that first, but first the actors. Jack Nicholson is great in this movie, as expected. However, Nicholson's performance in Chinatown stands out for its restraint, emotional depth, and adherence to the film noir style, distinguishing it from his more flamboyant and intense and crazy roles in other movies, such as The Shining or One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. The latter is also in the AFI's top 100 list. Chinatown features a stand-up performance by John Huston, who plays the role of villain Noah Cross, Evelyn's father. While a fine actor, Huston is primarily celebrated as a director. He directed classic films such as The Maltese Falcon, The African Queen, and The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. The latter earned him 2 Oscars. What's more, 3 of these films that I just mentioned made the top 100 list by the American Film Institute, so he directed 3 on the top 100 list and had a major acting role in a 4th. That's a pretty cool legacy. Next is the actress Faye Dunaway, who played the role of Evelyn. She also played a star role in the movie Network and Bonnie and Clyde, which Robert Towne had helped on with the script. Both of these films also made it into the top 100 movie list by American Film Institute. Back to Faye Dunaway in Chinatown. There is a tense and dramatic scene where Jack Nicholson's character, private investigator Jake Gittes, confronts Faye Dunaway's character, Evelyn Mulray, with growing frustration. The scene is marked by high emotions as Gittes, desperate for the truth, loses his temper and slaps Evelyn in an attempt to force her to reveal crucial information. This crucial information turns out to be the turning point for the film and the audience. It's at this point that my disgust and revulsion significantly grows. However, as important as this scene is, it was difficult for the actors to get it just right, particularly under the demanding director Polanski, who was a perfectionist. Finally, Dunaway simply instructed Nicholson to stop doing stage slaps and to actually slap her. The scene's final cut for the movie shows just that, Nicholson actually slapping Dunaway multiple times. Also, Dunaway had a real dislike for Roman Polanski. They quarreled often, and allegedly, in retaliation for him not letting her use the restroom so that they could continue filming, she peed in a cup and threw it in his face. She has denied having done this. This leads us to Roman Polanski, the director. Oh boy, get ready for this. If you've already watched the movie Chinatown and you know about the ending that I'm referring to, well, you wouldn't need to take a shower because you're already aware of it. If you don't know about Roman Polanski's story, then after learning about him, you might need to take a shower. So Roman Polanski, the director, he played a part in the movie. He's the man who cuts Nicholson's nose.
Hello, Claude. Where'd you get the midget?
Chinatown would be the last film Polanski directed in the United States. So back to Polanski's real-life story. It's about as tragic and reprehensible as what we find in the movie Chinatown. Buckle up, it's a wild ride. So as a young boy, Polanski experienced and survived the Holocaust as he belonged to a Polish Jewish family. In 1968, he married the actress Sharon Tate. A year later, the Manson family cult broke into their home and murdered the pregnant Sharon Tate and 4 others. Polanski was filming a movie in Europe at the time. In 1977, 3 years after the release of Chinatown, Polanski was charged with and pled guilty to unlawful physical relations with a minor, who was 13. He accepted a plea deal, but learned that the judge planned to disregard the plea bargain and send Polanski to prison for 50 years. In light of this information, he fled to France, where he is a citizen and protected from extradition, and where he has largely stayed so as not to be extradited. Fast forward to 2009, some 42 years later, Polanski decided to travel to the Zurich Film Festival in Switzerland to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award. Before he could accept his Lifetime Achievement Award, he was detained by the Swiss police at the airport. The Swiss Federal Criminal Court were to conduct a judicial review to decide if he should be extradited to the United States. On July 12, 2010, the Swiss court rejected the U.S. request for Polanski's extradition and released Polanski from custody, as U.S. officials were unable to provide certain documents that the court required. Polanski is still considered to be a fugitive from justice in the United States nearly 50 years later. Not even Richard Simmons could put a positive spin on that story. In case you were wondering, Polanski did receive his Lifetime Achievement Award later in 2011. Let me blow your freaking mind on some of the connections and intertwinings around this story. Polanski's victim was a young, aspiring model that he was photographing for the French edition of Vogue magazine. This ill-fated photo shoot took place at Jack Nicholson's home, while Nicholson was away on a ski trip. Nicholson's girlfriend at the time, Angelica Houston, arrived at the home and was convinced by Polanski that they were simply finishing up the photo shoot, and she was convinced. Angelica Houston is the daughter of John Huston. John Huston played the villainous role of Noah Cross in the movie Chinatown. Noah Cross was based on the real-life figure of William Mulholland. William Mulholland played a vital role, some consider it to be villainous role, in the California water wars on behalf of Los Angeles against the farmer. Nicholson's home, where Polanski committed his crime, is located on Mulholland Drive in Los Angeles. Is that weird or what? I couldn't believe it when I learned about that. So that's a lot of weird connections, but it's very heavy. Let's go to a little bit of a lighter note. So here are a few miscellaneous fun facts about Chinatown. Jane Fonda nearly got the role of Evelyn. The final line, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown," is ranked by the American Film Institute as the 74th best movie quote of all time. And my favorite fun fact is Ron Howard's father, Rance Howard, plays the angry farmer.
You don't have an answer for that so quick, do you? You steal the water from the valley, ruin the grazing, starve my livestock. Who's paying you to do that, Mr. Mulray? That's what I want to know.
So is the 19th best film of all time worth you watching on movie night? There are several reasons why the answer is yes, but 2 reasons why you may not want to. I really enjoyed the movie for its film noir aesthetic and its story pacing. The fact that the viewer unravels the mystery and finds out the truth alongside Nicholson's character made me feel invested, like I was right by his side. The acting by Nicholson, John Huston, and Faye Dunaway are all outstanding, and I was hooked onto the story from the very beginning till long after the end. The end. As I said, Chinatown has the best, worst ending to a film I have ever seen. I am committed to reviewing these top 100 films without major spoilers, so it's difficult to me to say anything more about it than that. However, it may be a reason you wouldn't want to watch this movie. Paradoxically, the ending is also a big reason why this movie is so good. I know that's not very helpful, but the next reason could be helpful. The other reason why you may want to pass on this movie is that by doing so, you will avoid feeling deep loathing and disgust. The last top 100 movie we watched was about a new wife doing right and taking life. The next top 100 movie we watched, the protagonist's character is 0% planning ahead and 100% impulse, which leads to some pretty wild scenes. I'll give you a hint. This man is a hack. He is a bad man, but a good cop. If you found this enjoyable and you've watched all the way to the end, I really appreciate that. I have a bad habit of caring what other people think. So if you want to leave a like or subscribe, that would make my day. Or if you dislike it, go ahead and do so, but leave a comment telling me why. Thank you for watching, and here is a clip of The Simpsons.
Forget it, Marge! It's Chinatown!
Homer, don't ever tell them personal stuff about me again.
Yes, ma'am.